It's going to be a short video covering the reaction to some of the changes that are coming to StarCitizen's LTI and insurance that you find on the store for different things. Thank you to my long-term subscribers. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already. And this is going to be very lo-fi, maybe a little bit dry for people, but it's important. And it kind of clarifies what was said in the StarCitizen 1.0 presentation by Rich Tyrer. And Rich was trying to be crystal clear, but it was in a condensed slide deck format, live in front of a whole group of people. And if you remember, the night before, he basically played through the Squadron 42 prologue twice after he practiced a bunch of times too, because he did it afterwards as well to get a better, cleaner shot. So I'd imagine he was a little bit tired, to say the least. That's not to give anybody a pass, though. It is important that people feel like their rewards that they were promised for backing are actually here. And so, Disco, to his credit, Jared went on to the Spectrum forums, and he posted up, quote, today, if you're listening to this on Monday night, and had a whole bunch of edits. And these were explained with some text down here that basically Jared thought he was doing in the background changes, and basically he was changing them live in front of everybody. And that's not important to me one way or the other, whatever it meant. Whether you believe that or not, I really don't care. What I really care about, once again, is back to people getting what they were promised, right? And it seems that that is the case. I'm sorry to disappoint those who are looking for drama. I am notoriously an optimist in the community. And if anything, I would like to think that I'm a pretty reasonable person when it comes to the community's takes on things, especially important things. It's okay to be riled up for the right reasons, and this is not one of them. So, I've heard quite a few things on different Discords and on the subreddit and everything talking about that the LTI has been destroyed outright, and so the lifetime insurance is no longer valid because anything purchased. Rich said, basically the deal is that this was going to come to a head no matter what. And they have chosen, CIG has chosen, to make StarCitizen 1.0.0 the flashpoint for this, that it has to happen by. And so by 1.0.0 being released, insurance will change as we know it slightly. Now, what they are saying is that if you have LTI, you still never have to buy insurance. And on a new system called a warranty that's in-game that allows you to automatically get the ship back, you will automatically get the ship back with what came with it when you purchased it in the store. So if you bought the ship in the website store, then you will get what you were promised on insurance. Now, if you don't have LTI, say you have 10-year insurance all the way down to 6-month insurance, what you will find is that after that insurance lapse, you will have to go and pay in-game to get that insurance again on the ship itself to maintain everything. But you will keep the said warranty system as well. So if you buy a ship in-game, on the other hand, and the ship pops, if you have the insurance at level 1, you will have to go take the credits and buy the ship again. Now, this has some nuance to it, because if something is under warranty and you're able to instantly file a claim, and they have to figure out how to get you a brand new ship that looked exactly the way it was, that is one less step you have to do. Whereas if you purchase a ship in-game and it has that insurance, but it does not have said warranty that you did not place on the ship, more on that in a minute, just to add some confusion to it, right? you would be given a stack of UEC. You would have access to a rental ship, as I understand it, for free, and be able to fly over to get you to where you need to go buy the ship at. Now, when you buy a ship or you have it placed in the insurance queue under the warranty system, it goes into a queue. And if they follow their original vision for the game, only so many physical ships will be made. So, if you go into the queue 5 minutes before me, you're getting a ship before I do, if we're both getting the same exact ship. So people that have a warranty on the ship, as well as at least level 1 insurance, of course, they will get their ship faster. They'll get it back faster. They'll be in the queue faster. Now, this could change slightly based on if those earnable warranties in game, because you can earn them in game and then place them on a ship. Those earnable in game might take priority or something, but we've heard nothing like that, and it's already complicated enough, so I have a sneaking feeling that CIG will not want to make this even more complicated. And boy, is it complicated. They went and they took insurance and they said, okay, if you want to pay extra, you can add level 2 insurance. And that means that it covers custom components. So components that you've ripped out and replaced with better components, let's be honest here. Or side grade components, so stealthier components, for example. Or components that make things have more longevity, like on industrial ships, and you don't want to have less maintenance, and because you have a skeleton crew, that kind of thing. And then level 3 adds coverage to your upcoming ship decorations, and still includes the other options. One key thing that I find as a first take here that they need to still clarify is that items that have LTI on them already should not require level 3 to cover these said ship decorations. I interpret ship decorations as even like weapons in the weapon lockers and other things. That has to be confirmed. Food even in the fridges, whatever. That's how I interpret these upcoming ship decorations, and bothering to make an entire additional level of insurance just for them. But I might be wrong. And if I'm not, then those items need to be covered under their own LTI without that level 3. So if you have subscriber gear or a Luminalia giveaway for celebrating the Luminalia 12 days, whatever it is, let's just say a sweater from Luminalia. You have it on your ship, the ship pops, the ship gets stolen, whatever. You are entitled to that sweater again. So this gets really weird. So if you only have level 2 insurance but not level 3, does that sweater just reappear on your ship? Because technically anything, at least based on tradition, every single item in the store has LTI on it. The items, armor, weapons, etc. The only reason you lose them right now and you can't get them back is because there is no item claim yet. The whole point of some of the item locker stuff was that it was going to be part of this, that you in the future will be able to bring those items back. So if you lose them, you can claim them back in item locker. So this gets really weird really fast. If you claim a ship that has that item on there, are they going to give you a new one inside the item locker, or is it just going to reappear on the ship? And I'm sorry to be pedantic about this, but some people have hundreds invested in these items, or just freebies in general. Incredible amounts of this stuff, and they don't want to lose it all again. They spent years trying to avoid losing it, and they finally get a chance to get it back. And now CIG is currently trying to put this grand complex into place for vehicles and ground vehicles and ships that is kind of leaving some gray area. Now, to their credit, they have done a lot of interesting stuff here about like being able to attach warranties that you can earn in game. So if you buy a ship in game, you're not out the ability to be able to get the warranty system, so you don't have to go buy the item with UEC and fly all over the universe trying to get it again. I think that's a good move, but I just feel like there's still a lot of moving parts here that are just weird. One of the things that I noticed down here that they kind of put in was, regardless of whether you have lifetime duration or 1 month, every one of them, regardless of insurance duration, will also have an automatic permanent warranty. And once again, I feel like this is going to confuse people that they think, oh, well, if I have a 3-month insurance, 6-month insurance, etc., on a starter account, a starter package, I'm automatically getting LTI. And honestly, when Rich during the 1.0 presentation kind of clarified at the end, I thought for sure that's what he meant. I thought, wow, okay, so they had to figure out what to do with purchased items that, in theory we don't want to see gone. And I thought that they had a couple options to choose from, like letting people upgrade or giving everyone a free upgrade. I had the sense basically that LTI was going to basically become everything that was purchased within game without out of game money or with credits and such, store credits. That is not the case, and this warranty does apply to every single item, but you must buy the tier 1 insurance once your timer runs out. And here comes the speculation. I think all of this is being lined up for 1.0 because I believe that because of the significant amount of parts, moving parts for 1.0, and all the promises being made for a full gameplay loops, full system that all interacts with each other, multiple gameplay loops that are all over the place, these amazing things, I believe, this is speculation, but I believe they will make 1.0 when the clocks start on the insurance that's not LTI. It creates a ticking clock effect. And then if I was CIG and I was doing this, I would have a one-time upgrade available. So not like not like a fear of missing out thing, but just, hey, are you upset you got a ticking clock? Well, you can buy LTI on each ship for this much. And like basically like a CCU, but just from the ship to the LTI version of that ship, like a CCU that's just an upgrade for that ship. They would make a fortune, and they wouldn't have to do anything. They don't have to make a single new ship. They don't have to advertise anything. If you started the clock on all these different insurance timers, and then it doesn't matter, you can make the insurance dirt cheap too. You can make it like 100 UEC, but you've got people that have massive fleets. You've got guys who barely play as well. So they may only have a ship or two, but they're saying, hey, I don't want to ever have the chance of losing my Nomad and my Cuddy Black. I never, ever, ever want that to happen. What if I go AFK for a year and I come back and I have no insurance and I miss the warnings and I fly out and I lose the ship or something? If you even suggest they have a chance of that, and they've got a ticking clock, especially the folks that only have 6 months, a year, etc., 2-year insurance, like those old subscriber bonus ones and things, and the early starter packs, they will pay. And you don't have to make it much. You can make it 5 USD to upgrade to the same ship with LTI, and scale it. Once again, I'm not wishing this on anybody. I'm not trying to give CIG a blueprint on this, but I just kind of, when you kind of see have a premonition about something that's good or bad. This is one of those where it's like I see it coming a mile away and I can't help it. But I just feel like if I feel this way, maybe I can share that with the community, and they can start planning accordingly, and go and then laugh at me. Hey, if 1.0.0 hits and they don't start the clock on insurances and they don't start going down that path, you're welcome. Come back to this video, slap some comments in mocking me, go for it. But I still feel it's important for you to plan ahead, especially if you have a fleet that's a little bigger, or a fleet that you're still trying to round out on options. You got a CCU tucked away and it might be being applied to a ship that has less than LTI. I think you got to keep a weather eye on all this, because this is going to get crazy fast, especially because a lot of people are going to need level 2 insurance. Some of these ships come with really crappy components, unfortunately, for what they're supposed to, even the role they're supposed to do. They get like one good grade A or B combat component on a combat ship, and then you go digging through the components and like there's civilian stuff in there, and you're like, what are you doing with this? You handed me a combat vessel. Oh, well, it's the civilian version. So it has slightly worse components. There's a huge difference between civilian and competitive or combat variants. the military modules and such, and the components. And I just want to stress that I kind of feel this coming. And some of them you have to really be careful about the grade levels. That's going to matter a lot more really soon, especially with full engineering rolling out. Higher grade components made with the correct way will have much higher reliability. And if you're running a ship that's supposed to have, let's take the Star Lancer for example, CIG saying you're supposed to have 4 people on that ship. If you want to run it with only 2 or 3 folks, especially before NPC crew are available, well, you probably want to have very reliable components. I would go industrial components, avoid competitive components, and high grades on these components, grade A. As if they don't change that yet again, because they're talking about grade 1 through 5 with constructed items. And that's another thing, you can have spares on board, but none of that's going to be covered under this insurance unless you get that level 2. And level 2 is only covering, it seems like, the custom components that are, I interpreted as, installed in the ship. So they have to be sitting in that shield generator slot. They have to be sitting in the power plant rack. They can't be sitting waiting to be used in the power inside the cargo bay. They can't be sitting in some hallway bouncing around until that gets nerfed. I've always found that funny how we just kind of shove these ships full of cargo. When that stuff changes, my goodness, it's going to be wild seeing people's reactions. But anyway, the biggest thing that I take away from this is that there's a massive crackdown on the way insurance is kind of hodgepodge together in a good and bad way. We have a clear vision forward. This is the direction CIG wants to go. Pay close attention that you'll only get the level 1 insurance, so note the for free. So note that if you're going to purchase a ship, it makes more of a sense to pay a close eye on the modules it comes with cheap, unless you're willing to shoulder the cost and just say, look, I'm willing to get that level 2 insurance, or it's a Hornet, so if I upgrade this one module and it's $80K to replace the one component, and it's $80K to replace it, top tier, top shelf type stuff, grade A, it's not the end of the world. Versus if you're in a much larger ship, like once again, we go back to them Star Lancers, because they're the new hotness. If we go into something of that size and scale, you start talking about those components to replace. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of UEC. And the differences are significant. And even just to repair items on board is significant. Bigger the ship, the more material you need, even when you can repair them. And once again, multi-crew ships are very, very critical to get them components right. You can't have crud tier components and then they're unreliable, and then you're trying to run around with your skeleton crew. I know this is the 3rd time I've repeated that, but it's something it seems like a lot of people are missing, is the soft stats on these ships. I feel like this insurance stuff not covering the upgraded equipment is an important nuance. We really need to see what this vision of 1.0.0 insurance at level 2 and 3 cost, especially level 2. Because once again, that's going to make your life a lot better or worse based on one unlucky loss of a ship or something. I always had the motto in EVE Online when I played it for 10 years that you fly what you can afford to lose. And I can remember flying around in Tech 2 fit battle cruisers and stuff back when that wasn't a big deal, and people would still only have enough for one replacement ship. It was like, what if you have one bad night? You can't get anything done. And it was important to get those people shuffled into the ship replacement programs and organizing them, double checking, hey, even your ratting ships and stuff, do you have insurance on those? Do you have it up to date? Talking them through, you really need to plan ahead on this and have a second earning ship, not just combat vessels, but your earners. Because you can't always rely on the org. I'm using the StarCitizen term, but in the case of StarCitizen, I think we're going to face a lot of organizations that promise to give you level 2 insurance cost. You'll input your top 3 ships that you're expected to bring out to come fight or come do indie missions and such, and the more organized orgs with the active users will say, okay, if you hit certain activity levels, we will give you a stipend that will allow you to pay for your level 2 insurance. We're not going to give you a level 3 for your bobbleheads unless it includes like weapon lockers and stuff. That's a big nuance CIG needs to figure out and put down there. Maybe Jared can edit it again and put in that, because that's important. I mean, it's that important. But level 2, I feel like, is going to become the new standard of insurance. Professional organizations that really want to prove their salt, they're not going to give you a free ship. Maybe loaners, okay, at a certain, lower tier, but larger vessels will be to the most trusted members. Obviously, will be issued as needed to kind of support operations. But the level 2 for your line members, your critical members that you need numbers in for both indie and combat, I see that as going to be like the standard. If people aren't getting stipends for level 2 insurance, they're not going to be joining your org. I'm not sure if I want to. I'm not sure if I hope I'm wrong, but that's kind of where I see things going. This was a little bit of a free form. I apologize I don't have some moving video to show you that's really entertaining. My high production value, if you appreciated this, of course, like, and thank you to my long-term subscribers. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. And if you really want to overachieve, in the end credits here, there's Player Outpost and Player Space Station Supercut. Check it out. Give me some comments and feedback on that video more so. It would be greatly appreciated, because I put a ton of production value into that, getting that right, and putting some soul into that video that I feel like it breathed life into it, that it really deserved. That was incredible video demos by CIG, and I felt like the songs really added to it. And on this video, I'm available in the comments below if you want to discuss it. And I understand I'm not a wizard. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't see ahead, but I see it coming, and I strongly believe, once again, 1.0.0 is going to start the insurance timers. It's going to start the clock, and for better or worse, I highly suggest you be prepared. And if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, but at least you're ready for that, if that possibility. And like I said, I'm available in comments, privately on Discord, on the subreddit, etc. Thank you all. Have a good evening.